You feel the cold before you understand why. It is just past 11 at night, and the North Atlantic air bites through your coat. You are standing near the forward railing of the ship they called Unsinkable. Then somewhere above you, a bell rings 3 times. You do not know it yet, but that sound is the last ordinary moment of your life. Your eyes lift toward the crow's nest. A lookout is shouting something into a telephone. You cannot hear the words, but you can feel the ship shift beneath your feet. A low shudder, a groan of metal you were not meant to notice. Something has changed. You are a passenger aboard the RMS Titanic, somewhere in 3rd class, or maybe 2nd, it does not matter which. What matters is that tonight, April 14th, 1912, you are 4 days into a crossing from Southampton to New York. You booked this trip for a new start, a job waiting a family to join a life you pictured clearly right up until this second. The night is unusually calm, no moon, no wind. The sea around you looks like glass, which is strange because that same stillness is part of why no one saw the danger sooner. Waves normally break white against ice. Tonight there were no waves. You did not build this ship, you did not command it, but right now its fate is also yours. Somewhere above deck, First Officer William Murdoch has just given the order to turn hard and reverse the engines. You feel it in your bones before your mind catches up. A tilt, a tremble along the floor. Then a sound like something enormous scraping past, low and long, almost gentle, which is somehow worse than if it had been violent. You brace against a wall around you. People pause mid-sentence. A child asks her mother what that noise was. No one answers because no one yet knows. You step toward a porthole outside. In the dark, a pale shape slides past. Taller than the deck you're standing on, it is gone in seconds. Some passengers will later say they felt almost nothing, a bump hardly noticeable. That quiet is part of what makes this moment so dangerous. The ship has just been struck along roughly 300 feet of her starboard hull. Not a single gaping wound, but a series of narrow openings where steel plates buckled and rivets popped loose under pressure. 6 of the 16 watertight compartments are already taking on water. The ship was designed to survive 4 flooded compartments, not 6. You do not know that number yet, you only know something is wrong because a steward has begun quietly telling people to put on their lifebelts without saying why. His voice is calm on purpose, too calm. That practiced calm is its own kind of alarm. You feel your pulse rise before your thoughts catch up. This is the stakes now plain and physical. There are not enough lifeboats for everyone on this ship. Regulations at the time were based on outdated tonnage rules, not passenger count, and Titanic carries lifeboats for barely half the souls aboard. You do not know that fact yet either, but your body already senses that something about tonight does not add up. You move toward the boat deck, joining a slow current of other passengers doing the same. The air outside is sharp, almost 13 degrees below the temperature of the water itself, cold enough that survival in the sea below would be measured in minutes, not hours. Crew members begin loading the lifeboats, women and children first. Someone calls out. Though the enforcement of that rule will vary wildly, deck by deck, officer by officer. Some boats will leave half full because no one nearby fully believes the ship is truly sinking. You watch one lower into the dark, the ropes creaking, faces inside pale with a fear that has not yet turned into panic. Not quite yet. You think of the choice in front of you if you're lucky enough to have one. Do you wait? Do you push forward? Do you trust the men in uniform who themselves do not fully know how much time is left? This is the truth about disasters that history rarely captures cleanly. In the moment, no one has the full picture. Titanic's radio operators are sending distress signals into the dark. Some heard, some missed. One nearby ship, the Californian, close enough to possibly help, but its wireless operator has already gone to bed for the night. Chance, timing, small decisions made hours earlier are quietly deciding who survives and who does not. By 2:20 in the morning, the forward deck you once stood on is already underwater. The stern rises unnaturally high into the black sky, propellers exposed, groaning under a weight they were never built to bear. Then, with a sound survivors would describe for the rest of their lives, the ship breaks apart. If you are one of the fortunate, you are already in a lifeboat watching from a short distance as running lights vanish beneath the surface. If you are not, you're in water so cold it stops the body's ability to move within minutes. Roughly 1,500 people will not survive this night, around 700 will. What decided the difference was not simply luck. It was where your cabin happened to be. It was which staircase you were near. It was whether a crew member let you pass. It was whether you froze or moved. Historian and Titanic researcher Walter Lord, writing decades later, described the disaster as a study in ordinary human behavior under impossible pressure, not simply a tale of villains and heroes. Some acted with extraordinary composure, some froze entirely. Most people placed in a moment like this discover a version of themselves they never expected to meet. The wider truth is this: Titanic was not undone by one dramatic failure, but by a chain of smaller ones. A calm sea that hid the iceberg's telltale waves. A lookout without binoculars locked away by mistake. A safety rulebook that never accounted for a ship this size. A wireless operator asleep at the wrong hour. Each one alone forgivable, together catastrophic. This is often how disasters actually unfold, not through a single spectacular mistake, but through many ordinary oversights lining up in the dark. And there's something else this night reveals about human nature. Even now, more than a century later, we return to this story again and again, not simply for the ship, but for the moment right before impact, that strange quiet second when everything is still fine and then suddenly is not. Psychologists who study risk perception note that humans are remarkably bad at reacting to threats that arrive without drama, a slow scrape instead of an explosion, a distant bell instead of a siren. Your ancestors survived by reacting fast to loud, obvious danger. Titanic's danger was quiet, and that quiet cost time no one could get back. You remember the stillness of the sea that night, no waves breaking against the ice, no warning in the water at all, just glass and cold and a ship that believed itself untouchable. Somewhere out there tonight, the ocean is just as calm, and somewhere someone is standing at a railing, certain that whatever comes next will surely announce itself first.